On a cold autumn evening, the sky was heavy with thick clouds, and the wind swept through the narrow streets of a small, isolated town called Redville. Once known for its quiet charm, the town had become nothing more than a hollow shell. Shops were shuttered, lights dimmed, and people rarely stepped outside after sunset. In one forgotten corner of the town, Michael walked hesitantly toward the old local museum, accompanied by his friend Jess, a reckless young man, always laughing and joking, but secretly driven by an insatiable greed. The museum had been closed for years, abandoned after a mysterious incident no one ever spoke about clearly. There was no convincing reason to go inside, except for the rumors. Whispers of a 17th century doll made of strange skin and black onyx eyes, an artifact said to be worth thousands of dollars. The side door's lock was broken, just like the teenager at the bar had told them. They entered the museum under cover of darkness, armed only with a small flashlight and the sound of their quickened breath. The air inside was suffocating, a mix of mold, dust, and time long forgotten. They crept past the dark, echoing halls until they reached a partially sealed room, something like a storage space, filled with items unfit for display. There, among broken statues and rusted shelves, they found a glass case covered in a black cloth. Michael slowly pulled the cloth aside, revealing a stiff-faced doll coated in dust. On the neck, carved in faint but precise letters, was the name Elira. Jess stared in disbelief, then chuckled nervously. Doesn't look priceless. Looks like it belonged to a witch. Michael replied coldly, or a victim. Despite a strange sensation creeping into his chest, Michael helped Jess lift the doll and place her inside a cloth bag. As they left the museum, an old bell echoed from the far end of the building, though the air was completely still. The next day, the doll was placed in Michael's small apartment, resting on a shelf in the corner. The apartment was modest, old furniture, creaky wooden floors that moaned with every step. Michael laid back on the couch as Jess scrolled through his phone and joked, "If this doll starts moving at night, I'll be the first to burn it." Michael laughed, but a tightness gripped his chest as he glanced at the doll. Her glossy eyes were fixed on him, directly, almost watching. At midnight, Michael awoke to a faint sound. It was as if someone was whispering from the living room. He got up slowly, opened the door carefully. The room was still. Everything was exactly where he had left it, except the doll. She wasn't on the shelf. Suddenly, he heard soft, tiny footsteps across the wooden floor behind him. He spun around. Nothing. The hallway was empty. Heart pounding, he rushed back to bed. But sleep would not come. By morning, the doll was back on the shelf, as if nothing had happened. In the following days, strange things began to happen. Jess started speaking in his sleep, muttering words that made no sense. Michael noticed small scratches appearing on the walls, like someone had tried to carve symbols using their fingernails. One morning, Michael found the bathroom mirror completely fogged, despite not having used any water. On the foggy surface, faint letters appeared. Looking back, Michael began to feel watched at all times, an invisible shadow lingering just behind him, never seen, never gone. His appetite waned. His dreams turned to nightmares. In one dream, he saw a pale girl with long black hair standing silently in his doorway. She locked eyes with him and whispered, "You're the ones who opened the gate." One evening, a strange woman entered the antique shop where Michael worked. She wore a dark coat, her hair tied neatly back. Without introduction, she walked up to him and asked, "Do you possess something called Elira?" The question stunned him. He froze, unsure how to answer. She looked him dead in the eye and said, "You've touched evil. Now it's coming for you." Her name was Sarah, a researcher in ancient mythologies, working on documenting artifacts linked to 17th century cults and forbidden rituals. She explained that Elira was used as a vessel for a cursed spirit, the soul of a woman executed for witchcraft. Her body had been buried in an incomplete ritual. Her soul had nowhere to go except the doll. Sarah added that removing the doll without the proper rites had opened a gate that would not close without sacrifice.
Subscribe to the channel to get the latest movies.
If you want to see the second part, write me in the comments and click the subscribe button.